Aston Martin Vantage 2006 Fast Fleet Test. How much does an early V8 Vantage really cost to run? We're starting to find out barely a month into Aston ownership, and the first major expense it. A not inconsiderable for grand. Oof, didn't see that coming. Not really the Aston's fault, to be fair. Thing is, Mrs. T had long been hankering after a Fiat 500 convertible, and after she'd agreed to me getting my own actual Aston Martin there, was really no way I could refuse her a Fiat. So we now have the two most impractical cars in the road. The dog isn't impressed. I can tell you, the Aston itself hasn't cost a penny so far. Beyond the purchase price, road tax, insurance, and fuel. So, how much do these things cost for an early Gayden-era V8 Vantage? I bought the Aston in one of those it's now or never moments. In short, I was about to hit the big 6 to 0 and needed cheering up. And as I'd recently inherited a bit of money, I decided an Aston was the answer. At the time, you could find very presentable V8 Vantages for between £25,000 and £30,000. They've moved up a bit since then, but these were usually private sales, and I wanted the reassurance of buying from a specialist, which led me to McGurk Performance Cars in Warwickshire and this January 2006 Vantage in Toro Red, which I picked up for £30,000 to £500. One bonus with a really early Vantage is that the road tax is £340 a year had it been registered. After the 23rd of March 2006, it would have been £600. Another pleasant surprise was that insurance was just £236 a year for myself, and Mrs. T on an Admiral multi-car policy. Though the excess is a fairly chunky £600, and do keep in mind that we're both damn near pensionable, you don't buy a Vantage. For its fuel economy, most owners reckon on getting anything between mid-teens when they're enjoying themselves, and early 20s sitting on the motorway, so the average of 19. 5 mpg over the first 1,000 miles or so feels about right. Were you to cover 3,000 miles a year, which isn't untypical, that would work out at around £1,000 a year for fuel. Most specialists suggest budgeting the same again for routine servicing and the usual expendables. Speaking of which, the tires could really do with replacing. The original equipment, old Bridgestone Potenzas, which don't have the best reputation for ride or handling. And though there's a decent amount of tread left, a check of the manufacturing date on the sidewalls reveals that the fronts are 5 years old and the rears are positively geriatric 8 years old, though there's no sign of perishing. That's really pushing the upper limit of healthy tire life and may well be contributing to a rather brittle secondary ride. The favorite replacement among other owners seems to be Michelin's Pilot Sport 4S, but Bridgestone's recently launched Potenza Sport has been getting some good notices. I'm hoping Evo's tire test will help me decide which way to go. Also on the to-do list is to investigate an upgrade for the infamously woeful factory-fit satnav. It was some way off the pace when the car was new, so 15 years later the pop-up screen remains firmly stowed and the iPhone does nav duties instead. I've heard good things about a company called Aston Installations, who cleverly adapt the electrics so that you can run Apple CarPlay via the existing screen. So that's one avenue to explore. In the meantime, I'm thoroughly enjoying the early months of Aston ownership. The V8 is spare daily duties. I've no doubt it would take them in its stride. But I'm still at the point where I'm nervous of leading it anywhere it might possibly pick up dings in those exposed flanks. So it's special days out, including joining around 700 other Astons at the AM Heritage Festival, visits to family and friends, and the occasional early morning or late evening blat around the local lanes. They've never sounded better.